Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our presentation on Kotter's 8-step model of change. We have 4 dynamic presenters today, and they are Marlon D. Sims, Talisha Bowen, Charmaine Wallace, and Esmilda McKenzie.
Here are the objectives of our presentation. At the end of the presentation, students should be able to state briefly who John P. Kotter is, state each step of Kotter's 8-step model of change, identify advantages and disadvantages of the model, explain how the model can be applied in their own role as leader.
John P. Kotter is Konosuke Matsushita Professor of Leadership, Emeritus at the Harvard Business School, and a graduate of the Harvard University. He was born on February 25, 1947. He is known internationally as the foremost speaker on the topics of leadership and change. Kotter has authored 17 books, 12 of which are bestsellers. His works has been printed in over 120 languages, and total sales have exceeded 2 million copies. His bestseller, Leading Change, which outlines the actionable 8-step process for implementing successful transformations, has become the Change Bible for managers around the world.
Now that you have some information about the man, John P. Kotter, let us now look at the 8 steps, beginning with step number 1. Establish a sense of urgency.
Establish a sense of urgency. If leaders intend to change the status quo, they need to create a compelling case about the need to achieve change. They ought to communicate the need for change. Leaders need to find ways to communicate a strong sense of urgency regarding the need for change to all persons involved. The change needs to be clearly articulated so that all persons concerned by the change initiative know why the change is necessary and needs to happen urgently. If the change is not thoroughly understood, those at the helm may not have sufficient power and credibility to initiate the necessary change. Identify and outline potential risks. While explaining the need for change, it is necessary to highlight the threats or risks that may be involved if change does not take place with immediacy. Examine opportunities that will arise through change. It is necessary to use as many factors as possible in sharing with everyone the benefits that the change will bring about as a means of getting them to buy into the vision for change. Generate discussions about the change. It is so important to incite organization-wide discussions in order to ensure that as many persons as possible get involved. Get everyone talking about the change and asking questions to inspire them to be able to move from the current state to a new one. Utilize external sources to add merit to the need for change. A tactic or a tool that may be used to create a sense of urgency is to involve outside consultants or organizational partners. This may help to enable confirmation and believability in highlighting the need for change.
Moving on to step number 2. Create a powerful coalition.
Create a powerful coalition. No individual can single-handedly bring about lasting change. In order to implement successful change, there needs to be a designated group of persons with a shared commitment and sufficient power to lead the change effort. They must have specific characteristics such as expertise. All relevant perspectives need to be put on the table to foster intelligent decision making. Position power. The team needs to have enough key players so that those who are not included will not be able to block progress. Credibility. Those who form the group should be persons who are highly respected, as they need to be taken seriously when pronouncements are made. Leadership. The group should consist of proven leaders from different departments who are capable of driving the change process.
Now we're moving on to step number 3, which is developing a vision and a strategy. In developing a vision and a strategy, you must determine the core values and define the ultimate vision and the strategies for realizing a change in an organization. That's the first of 2. The second thing is to ensure that the change leaders can describe the vision effectively and in a manner that people can easily follow and understand. Moving on to step number 4, communicating the vision. Very important. Communicating the vision is very important. It is the driving force behind the motivation and intention of the change. Therefore, you have to be able to communicate the change in the vision very powerfully and convincingly. You need support, so you have to do it in that way. Connect the vision with all the crucial aspects like performance reviews and training. The second part is to handle the concerns and issues of people honestly and with equal participation.
Step 5. Empower broad-based action. Remove potential roadblocks to change initiatives. In order to remove these barriers, you must first be able to identify them. These may include rules, procedures, being complacent, or commonly accepted statements such as, "That is how things." Change leaders. Find leaders who will reinforce the value of your change by delivering on it. Leaders who will support the change initiatives. Leaders who will stand up and stand out. Remove barriers of hierarchy. Seek out underutilized skills within the organization and pair with skill mentors. Imagine the real impact that can be created by such cross collaboration. In the words of John Kotter himself, he says, "Innovation is less about generating brand new ideas and more about knocking down those barriers to make ideas a reality." Step 6. Create short-term wins. Engage and enable the team towards change. Change is not implemented by a spark, but it requires a consistent current building established through producing, tracking, evaluating, and celebrating. Celebrate small and large accomplishments. Do you generate wins in your organizations? Which successful and sustainable initiatives cause successes? Do you hear about wins in your organizations? Are successes shared and celebrated? Small or large accomplishments can carry great psychological power. They give credibility to your structure, and this will in turn foster more cooperation within the organization. Wins are molecules for results. They must be collected, categorized, and communicated early and often to track progress and energize volunteers to drive change. Short-term successes are great motivators for those working on your new vision and great ways to combat naysayers and critics of your vision.
Step 7. Building on change.
Esmeralda Mackenzie, and I will.
Step number 8. Institutionalizing the new approach to change.
Institutionalizing the new approaches to change. Create a new social norm and establish values consistent with the changes. Changes should become part of the core of the organization to have a lasting effect. Keep senior stakeholders on board. Encourage new employees to adopt the changes and celebrate individuals who adopt the change to help improve performance in the organization. To the educational system. Create new social norm and establish values consistent with changes. Promote people who are capable into leadership positions to personify the new approach. Work together with staff to establish a cohesive environment. This figure, entitled The Big Opportunity, depicts Kotter's 8 model of change. In any organization, we have advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of Kotter's 8-step model. By nature, this step-by-step model provides a clear guide of the process of change, thereby fostering an ease of implementation. By nature, it speaks to the involvement and acceptability of employees engaged in the change process. It is concerned with the acceptability of change and not the process of change. Advantages of Kotter's 8-step model. The model lacks flexibility. The steps must be followed sequentially and can be detrimental if one step is missed. Implementation is time-consuming. It is a top-down model. Therefore, it does not facilitate participation and co-creativity.
We're now going to share with you a short video reviewing all the main points of the presentation.
It can be much easier to identify the need for change than to actually deliver change in reality. A model proven to be successful in making change happen is John Kotter's 8-step change model. So let's have a look at this step by step. To get the top-down change to embed, Kotter suggests that it starts with increasing the urgency. He estimates that 75% of management need to back an initiative for it to be successful. Use as many facts as possible to identify potential threats, examine opportunities, and start honest discussions to get people talking and thinking. The next step is to build the guiding team. It's not enough simply to try and push through a major change by yourself. You need support. So identify the true leaders in your organization and ask for emotional commitment from these key people. Build a change team ensuring that you have a good mix of people from across the company. Step 3 is setting a clear vision of how you see the future organization looking and why that's beneficial. This will help everyone to clearly understand why you're asking them to assist you in this change. So determine the values you see as central to this change and develop a short summary that captures what you see as the future of the organisation. This leads to step 4, communicate for buy-in. Without credible communication, the hearts and minds of those you'll need to execute the change will not be won. If you think about all the different communications that happen on any given day in a typical organisation, it should be obvious why your communication needs to be very clear and strong. It's also important to walk the talk. Talk often about the change vision, openly address people's concerns and anxieties, and lead by example. Step 5, empower action. Now it's time to remove any barriers so that the team can get on with the implementation. You need to create a structure so that the work gets done. Set up a reward system so that the team remains motivated, and keep a watchful eye on those who are resisting or blocking the change, and give them special attention to bring them on side. Step 6, creating short-term wins. Nothing motivates more than success, so to keep up motivation, find quick wins to give your organisation a taste of victory early in the change process. Without this, critics and negative thinkers might hurt your process, so look for surefire projects that you can implement without the help of any strong critics. Pick the right targets early on and reward the people who help you meet those targets. Step 7, don't let up. Real change takes a long time and rarely happens without pain. Consequently, there's a high risk of people reverting back to the old way of doing things. Counter this tendency by continually setting bigger goals to build on the successes and momentum you've already achieved. After each minor win, analyze what needs to be improved. Embrace continuous improvement and keep ideas fresh by bringing in new people into your change team. Step 8 is make change stick. Your job isn't done until the change has roots and has become part of the core culture of your organisation. So you need to make absolutely sure that you have the continuity of behaviour and the results that you need to help that new culture grow. Kotter's 8-step model is a great tool for both planning and delivering effective change.
Kotter's 8-step model can be applied to an educational institution, and this is how. Step 1. Establishing a sense of urgency. Develop opportunities for open discussion or communication about ongoing problems within the system that will spark thoughts on possible changes. Under Step 2, creating the guiding coalition, spearhead a leadership committee comprised of elected members that will be dedicated to promoting and following through with all the change plan. For Step 3, developing a change vision, the leadership creates a mission statement clearly outlining the vision that encompasses select values and ideals. And for Step 4, communicating the vision for buy-in. Key figures within the school, including those on the leadership committee, set examples through action while relating everything to the initial vision for change. Under Step 5, empowering broad-based action, determine set members within the leadership committee who will be driving the force of change. Under Step 6, generating short-term win, you must set realistic, attainable goals to be reached. And Step 7, don't let up. As a leadership committee, reflect on the change that has occurred and adjust accordingly. And finally, Step 8, make it stick. Share success stories, encourage stakeholders to continue promoting the vision.
We thank you for your attention and hope that you found this presentation informative and insightful. We also hope that you will add Kotter's 8-step model of change to your toolkit of useful resources. You are welcome to look at our references for further research on Kotter's 8-step model of change. We wish you the very best in your area of leadership.